So welcome to Partnership Hub presentation. So the Partnership Hub is part of the Partnership and Prevention team. So just before I tell you about the Hub, I'm just going to tell you a bit about the team so that you can understand the context of where we come from. So within the team, you may have heard of the Partnership Outreach Workers, who, if you're from a school, will have been reaching out to you recently. They've just joined us in January, and I will talk a little bit about them a bit further down. We also have the Supporting Families Employment Advisors, who are there to support families to return to work. So if you've got any families who are affected by worklessness, then we can support with that. We also have the Reducing Parental Conflict Advisor or Coordinator, who is part of this meeting today. And we will be having a presentation on that in a couple of weeks' time as well. And then we've got the Partnership Hub. All of our work is done at the lowest level of the threshold. So if you've seen the threshold briefing, you'll know that it starts at level 1 and goes up to level 4, and we work with level 1, 2A and 2B. The Partnership Hub is very much about level 2A. So that is where a support is required. So help is needed for a family, but it doesn't require a team around the family or an assessment of any kind. So the Partnership Hub is a multidisciplinary group. The group is made up of professionals from Brighter Futures for Children, from Reading Borough Council, and from some charity organisations as well. So that includes mental health services, the charity SAFE, and the Family Information Service as well. It's a consent-based service, so any family that would like to have some support from us will need to provide consent to their lead professional. We are a trauma-informed service, and we make sure that we have a whole family approach. So although we might talk about one particular child in the family who's having some difficulties in school, we will look at the impact of that on the other children, if there are other children, and on the parents as well, and look at the needs for the whole family. It is a professionals only platform, so it is only for you as a professional to come and talk about a family that you've got concerns about. Parents aren't invited, and neither are children or young people. We meet on a Wednesday morning, and we meet term time only. So we will talk about the process in terms of booking, but it's always on a Wednesday. So families get discussed at the Hub through a series of process. So they get referred and allocated. Usually the referrals will come from Children's Single Point of Access. They might also come through the Partnership Outreach Worker or directly to us from the One Reading email. And I'll provide you with that information as we get to the end. They'll be triaged and contacted by myself, so I'll make sure that it suits the Partnership Hub and shouldn't be allocated to another part of the team. And then you will receive an initial contact from myself, which will invite you to come to the Hub. My colleague then will contact you to arrange an appointment and provide you with the dates and times that we've got available. We'll book a meeting in, and then you'll get the information about how to attend. So in the actual meeting, we start the session with some introductions, and we'll make sure that everybody knows who's there and what their role is. So in the multidisciplinary group, we'll make sure that everyone who is there shares what their expertise are. You'll, as the lead professional, will be given a 10-minute space to talk about the child, the young person or their family, and talk about your concerns, what help they're looking for, and how we might be able to help them. From that point, the multi-professionals will share advice and guidance and perhaps some signposting as well, and discuss what steps might be available next. That might include a lot of links to services within the community or services nationally that can help the family, some suggestions of services that could support directly. So for example, going to SAFE or Starting Point, for example. And we may also discuss whether a team around the family is appropriate and whether that would like to continue, the support maybe continue within the team. So why should you use the Partnership Hub? So the Partnership Hub is there to provide early intervention. It's there to capture the support that's needed for a family before they need services. So before they need to go to a family worker or a youth worker, or before they need to have any support from a social worker. We provide expert advice and support from some of the services within Brighter Futures, and we try to meet the needs of the whole family. The most important thing is to prevent the access to services. So we are there to try and capture families that may need some help and stop their help needs escalating, so that they don't need to come in to the front door for some extra support, so that we can help them in the community with somebody who they know best and somebody who they can talk to and feel safe with. So we've talked a bit about signposting, and this is just a collection of the places that we've signposted to in January. So we've had around 12 families discussed in January, and these are the themes that have come up, particularly for those 12 families. You can see that young people's mental health features very highly, with various services including Anna Freud, OCD Youth, Sharon, Shout, STEM 4 Charity, etc. Some of these will be multiple to one family, so these aren't kind of specific to one individual person, and there'll be several things given to each child or each family for some needs. We've talked about families with additional needs, and there are a lot of services in Reading available to help families, as well as some national services too. Mentoring features very highly, and there are some services available in Reading to refer children and young people to for some mentoring. And then there's youth provisions as well. We've also talked about several families that have been affected by domestic abuse, and we've talked about what services are available, again, locally and nationally. And just to give you some other themes that are discussed at the Partnership Hub, these are some of the ones that come up quite a lot. So internet safety, parental mental health, bereavement, families with parents in prison, childcare needs, education, employment, trauma, etc. We cover any topic and every topic, so these are just a selection. It doesn't really matter what the topic is, as long as the safeguarding needs aren't too high, it meets our threshold, and you're able to kind of present the needs. We will talk about any family that needs to come and be talked about. Just a bit of feedback from our partners. So since I've been in post in August last year before last, we've had all this feedback come in. 90% of our users would recommend our service to their colleagues, and 90% found that the feedback that was provided by the professionals was helpful. 79% felt that the meeting improved their knowledge of services and has allowed them to refer other families for support with similar needs. Some of the feedback we've got is that partners know about the tools that are available, and they found it really helpful in helping families, and it's helped them to pinpoint the services that might be most useful for that particular family. So how can you refer to the Partnership Hub? So there are 3 ways you can do that. You can do it direct to the team, and I'll pop the email address on at the end for you to do that. That's just an email to myself and Alistair, and one of us will review that and make sure that it meets the threshold. And then we'll contact you for some details. At that point, we might ask you to do an assessment, which will be a short document asking what's going well for the family, what concerns you might have, and how the family want help. You can do it through your partnership outreach worker. So every school has an allocated partnership outreach worker that you can refer a family to. Again, you'll be asked to do an assessment, and they will support you with doing that. And if you refer direct to the team through the email address, you'll get support from a partnership outreach worker to do an assessment too. Alternatively, you can go via the Children's Single Point of Access. We'd rather you didn't do that if you know that it's just going to come to the hub, because we don't want to use that resource if we don't need to. But obviously, if you're unsure of what the threshold is for the family, and if you'd like to check that safeguarding isn't a concern for the family, then we must make sure it goes through the Single Point of Access. I've talked a lot about the partnership outreach workers, so just to let you know who they are. They cover schools across the Reading borders and some of the surrounding schools as well. They're not locality based. They do have a list of schools, so they will have made contact with your school. If you haven't already heard from them, do let me know, and we'll make sure that you get in contact with them. So we've got Claire Macmillan, Hermione Hedges-Robinson and Stella Nicole, and they are the 3 partnership outreach workers. Their role is to support you, the partner, to make sure that early help arrangements are in place. So they can provide practical support, consultation, training and development for you. They'll also support you to complete an early help assessment. They'll promote and support team around the family meetings, and they'll help you identify needs as outlined in the Reading Threshold Guidance. So my key message, I've come to the end of my presentation. So the key message for you is that the Partnership Hub is for you, the partner, the professional working with the family. Any family can be discussed as long as it doesn't meet safeguarding thresholds. And you don't need to go to CSPA, you can come directly to us. And here is the One Reading email address. I will put in the chat as well. So if you want to contact us about any particular families, you can do it directly through that email.